As we shift here into, I guess, turn 7 down here. The Mikan are up to 3 draws, but there weren't enough power bases in the cup for that many, so they only get 2 of those. They're also going to get more, I don't know what to do with my demonstrations. I'm particularly worried about places where there's stuff, so I'm going to put one in Dinovan and one in Robochiv, I guess. The danger here is Robochi doesn't have many things. I'll put an assassin there as well to help cover. So I didn't get as many chips as I would expect. But now, here's one thing. You can kind of, as far as I can tell from the rules, if you get too many, more than 20 of these things, they start piling up in the overflow box, and they're perfectly safe there. They can't be called for. Which means if you put enough activity going on in a given city, it's just so chaotic that you can actually hide the stuff you really want to. I'm not doing that for various reasons. I don't know. But it's an option there. Okay, I guess we're on the reinforcements, and I have to kind of be careful here because, see, I'm not allowed to stack here, but I believe that is supposed to generate a guerrilla, a militia unit anyway, and that's what disturbs me. Any city map hexes with a multiplier number of potential resources. Both power base and combat units can recruit. Well, I have one of each there. And I get a guerrilla on top of every exposed power base. And also if an infantry unit is there with a multiplier, I get a militia in each adjacent hex not containing an enemy. Okay. So in order to deal with stacking, I can't have this here, but I'm going to get more units. And I guess I didn't do that earlier when I had some troops in the city. They should have been generating more reinforcements than I did. I think I dropped one militia on top of them, if I'm lucky. Anyway, you know, as usual, I'm not going to complain too much. Now, these militia are not allowed to move, so they'll be going face down at this point. All around that power base, or around that troop. These guys each get 1 for their power base. And I'm actually out of additional militia, which is not a big deal. I'll be able to get more shortly because I've got some here. But I may be, where I've got units out trying to recruit folk that aren't going to succeed at all just because there aren't enough militia. Because I know some of these are those. Political sections, whatever they're actually called, CRs, but I don't know what's committees of responsibility. That's what it is. Okay, and I don't have the firepower to go after sanctuaries, so I'm going to roll for more troops again, and I still don't get any. And I think that's about it. Well, these I get to place too. And again, I got to look for what that little symbol says on it, and that's an RP1. That's either a D or a C. This is a C. I'll have to take this under the camera. I can't get it under the camera. I think it's a D though. And I'll place those somewhere in the city. And then we go to the political picks. And I have to do that on my own. I'm already still making mistakes here. I get my counter picks that I haven't done yet, and I don't know precisely how those are going to work out. I'm trying to think, where do I want to pull from? What do I want to get here? I kind of want to pull from Robochi first, I think. It doesn't really matter. I get 3 picks no matter what. And I'm not quite sure what difference it makes when I'm pulling. But I got 4 there, so I'll roll an 8-sider. Oh, look, I found a bomb. Put that in my overflow. I think theoretically I can scramble things there. I'm not too worried about that bomb going. I gotta look to see where I'm allowed picks. I'm allowed picks here. Well, no, one of those just got placed. I don't remember which one, because I placed these stupid things. Yeah. I don't remember which one I just placed. I think it was this one. It may have been this one. Yeah, it was this one. Okay, so I can't pick from clearing, and I may have to pull some of those reinforcements off. So for the first time, I have pulled one of the opposing power bases. And I don't just put this over in mine. What happens is it gets placed on the board. So in Dinovan, it doesn't go in the retail, it goes in the retail shadow. And it is exposed. I don't know why it would go in one or the other, but that generates 40 points. And I don't think I can cancel it. I'm not sure. This whole mechanism, I'm not sure that I understand the design ideas behind it, which is part of why I can't get a grasp on the game. There's a number of things that I can kind of understand when I'm talking about, hey, lasers not being able to shoot certain places, the tanks and stuff going some places. But this part, wow, this part really evades my conception of what's going on in it, and I find that troubling no matter what. So let's look at counter picks, because this is what doesn't make sense to me. Counters are drawn one at a time. Counters which are drawn are immediately placed in the safe zone. Okay, that's counters. These are apparently not counters, which is my problem, and why, I just skim something and I say, well, counters, those are, anything, right? Chits, whatever you want to call them. Are immediately this is the counter draw phase. In order to counter draw, a player states the number, blah, blah, blah. If the gorilla has a power-based counter, if that's this is if troops are put there. If there are no friendly exposed the unit on any unoccupied. Okay, this is not making sense. Let's look again. No, they get placed in the thing. I don't know what the hell I found with these stupid. So I found something that talks about them going to the damn shadow things, and that's what I've been screwing up, just moving them to these, but that's what the rules seem to say. I'll be back after I figure this shit out. Here we go. The Mikan draws one at random from the gorilla safe zone of each city whose PO police unit is alive. Okay, that's the Mikan player over here. Counters are drawn one at a time with the players alternating draws. The gorilla draws first. Counters which are drawn are immediately placed in the safe zone. Great. In order to counter draw, blah, 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 we get the counter there. If the Mikan player draws a guerrilla combat unit, it's placed somewhere. Place it on the city map. I swear I just saw it. God damn it, if it's gone, I'm fucking pissed. If that is impossible, put it on the friendly power base counter. If there's no friendly exposed, put it on any unoccupied. It's gone again! I swear I just saw this goddamn roll. All this blue shit on here is not helping, but I saw the shadows just recently. Alright, well, I'm back. I just spent 7 minutes looking at this, trying to figure out where the hell this was, found it, came back, and it's gone. And that's what these rules do to me. Now I found it again, and unfortunately it's right under this blue shit, so I don't see it. If the Mikan draws a guerrilla combat unit, it's been flushed. Place it on the city map. If the gorilla has a power base counter exposed, no. Put the unit on the echo hex of that power base. What the fuck is that supposed to mean? That's the one place I see echo hex. If the gorilla has a power base counter exposed. Now, is that part of this blue shit here, which is what it attracts me to, only if I get a guerrilla combat unit? Obviously, I can try to ignore the blue, because that's obviously some drunken idiot deciding to color his entire rulebook for some reason. Yeah, that's what I sound like, right? No, but I mean, let's ignore that. Place it on the city map. Okay, good enough. If the gorilla has a power base counter exposed. Now, elsewhere, it says counters which are drawn are immediately placed in the safe zone. That's part of this same damn thing. But this is the only place echo hexes are discussed in the entire damn rule. If the gorilla has a power base control counter exposed, put the unit on the echo hex of that power base. If that's impossible, put it on a friendly power base counter. I think all that that's saying is if I happen to draw a combat unit, and it's only for the Mycan, because, I don't know, maybe the Mycan can't put stuff in the safe zones, which is fine. It's going to show up where? Place, if the gorilla has a power base counter exposed, put the unit on the echo hex of that power base. If they have more than one, I guess it goes on several. But if that's not possible, it goes on a friendly power base. If there's no power bases, it goes elsewhere. Okay, so those echo spaces don't mean a damn thing. They just help you figure out where the hell things go. So this goes over to Dinovan, and it's not forced to be revealed or anything like that. And I've been playing it right all along. I just gave you completely wrong ideas because the game makes no sense because there's blue shit all over it. God. All right. Now I go to that political phase, I guess. And there was no chance of anything getting forcibly revealed, as far as I can tell. All counters go here, is what this says. Combat units might go onto those echo hexes. Those echo hexes maybe have some effect when you do one of these. Maybe. I don't know. Let's go to the damn actions. So, over on Dinovan, I've got health and school in play. If I had retail, which I do not, I could play that. Alright, so that won't be happening. Over here, all I have is health in play, but let's see if I have school, because I could push it. I do. Now, what's D doing here? Okay. So I will play school. I have to find that. It's an echo. Shit. Whatever the hell those mean. There's school. So now I chase those police out. And I get, I think it's 40 points for that, which puts me up to 230. Now, whether I got to that 200 or not, I get another militia unit. I think all my militia are in their cities at this point. So I'll pull an RP militia off the board from food. And I gotta find one of my own to put back there. Okay. Now, do I have food? I do. I'll play that. That's another 40 points. Now, I can go up to docks. I do not have docks. Doesn't matter whether I have a gray docks. All the docks should be out. Yeah, he's got both of them. Okay. So it doesn't matter that I have that. I've only made it as far as food. And I shouldn't have gotten a militia, right? Oh, I got the one off school, I guess. Do I have another one? I have a D militia here. What the hell is that doing here? That can't be here. Well, it could. I guess, I don't know, maybe it is. Who cares? He's got a militia, so that's probably the D militia there. Let's make sure that I have 2 here if I can read these, and I do. I don't think you can, but I've got my glasses on rather than my contacts, so I can actually read these counters under the right lighting. Okay. Now I get to decide if I want to do any of my neat stuff. And yeah, I want to do my neat stuff. So let's take a look. I've got power bases, so I can do neat stuff to other places. There are also exposed enemy power bases, which might be hard to see because there's counters on top of some of them. So like industry is his exposed power base. Well, because it's the only one. Basically, it's going to be the furthest one over towards me is exposed. That and any that are within my territory but don't connect through a chain on his. Unfortunately, there's no way to mark the chaining that's going on. Here, it's all on the board, so it's kind of difficult to see that chaining directly in effect. I probably should have little tiddlywinks or something like that to mark what's been captured by who, just as an extra piece of information, and I may do that. If I can dig them up. I don't have many of them. Okay, so I have lots of options here. Kidnapping, assassination, riots, bombing, and assassination. Okay. Well, rioting involves blank counters. I would get 2 blanks here. I would get 3 here. I think it's worth doing. So I'm going to play a riot. I'm in the wrong town. Okay. Well, let's go back somewhere. Let's go do this one over here, I guess. We know what I have. I have nothing. I don't have health for C? Apparently not. Okay. And he's got nothing. So I ignore C. I go over to Dinovan. Dinovan, I have school and health, and he's got transport. You can see transport's here. That could end up exposed, but as it is, it's already the most exposed in his chain, therefore it's the one I can attack. All right, let's take a look again. I'm at Dinovan. Kidnap, 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 assassination, assassination. Those are my only choices. So, I gotta find the damn rules on that. And I bet you there's lots of blue all over these. Because they seem to... none. Surprising. I would think he would just, you know... And he does lines instead of just blotting it all out so that it's easy to kind of ignore the blue. No, he makes lines in it so it just looks like ignore the text. So I've got kidnap, assassination, and... that's it. Kidnapping allows me to move that enemy power base to my safe zone. That sounds kind of useful. What is it going to do to me in terms of points? Well, now I have to work my way through this whole thing and see, does that mean anything? See, I don't really want to do this because I don't get any points for it unless maybe I get them over here or someone gets them over here. So now I have to look through all of these to see if that's going to say anything. And I don't think it does here either. So kidnapping just removes his counter. That could be useful if I have a counter to play of that type, but I can't get up there to that level. So I'm not really interested in kidnapping him. What about assassinating him? These have a public reaction to them. I place the counter on any exposed vulnerable in-power base. If not canceled, the power base and the action counter are placed in the draw piles. Okay, does assassination do me any good? If I assassinate a Mike counter, I get 10 points back. Of course, he gets 40 for exposing that counter. But I'm not really sure that's valuable to give him another chance of exposing a counter there. Does the 10 do me any good? That's a question. Now this is in Dinovan. That 10's only going to get me up to 90. So unless I had demonstrations or something else, it wouldn't really do me any good. I'm going to hold off. I don't see much value to pumping that up right now. So now we go to Robochi. And in Robochi, we have a different set. We have bombing. As I recall, bombing sucks. That's something you don't want to do. So it works just like assassination, except Guerrilla's bomb. That'll be a minus 15. That's not something I want to do at all. I don't want to remove his counters particularly unless I can place my own in the place. Now, could I play mine to defeat his, to destroy his? I don't remember that. If I can, we got a problem. You cannot if the opponent is there, but you can cancel. You can cancel an exposed vulnerable one by playing your own. Both players, this does not count as exposing a power base for gaining pulse-up points. That's generally a terrible idea. You're putting the counters both back in the cup, so you're much better off doing an assassination or something so you can get your own 40 points for exposing your own power base afterwards. So I think I'm doing nothing there. Let's look at his. He's got nothing to do in clearing. Here he's got health. That's in D world. D world, well, this is annoying as hell. Health is already out there, so I'd have to destroy health to play it. And I can't play health because school's in the way. I can't play any of these red counters because they're the wrong side. I only have them to counteract events played by him. We're getting to the, wow, there's actually interesting stuff. How about Robachev's docks? I could probably play these because there's no green docks there. And I will, because that's worth 40 points to me. And I get nothing, I have nothing else to play, I have no action chits to play. And ouch, that was painful. And again, you know, this is not terribly easy to cope with either. It's just, I don't know what components would work better with this game. So for example, these chits, if they were on cards or something, they could actually have the action point value that they evoke on them. A chit could have that too, though. But a card could have the effect and the action point value on it, and that would be very much more pleasing. Some little tiddlywinks, if I've got to mark the locations here and keep track of the chains here, those are going to help there. And I may just, like I said, try to dig some up to use for that, because this is not working well for me. And, you know, and then the rule book is also not well laid out in the same kind of graphic design. You know, GDW didn't have a Simonson on staff. No one did, except SPI. But yeah, there definitely is a lot less of that, hey, how can we make this game more playable and more accessible to the player? Neither the rules nor the layout of the information presented is very good in these games, and that's a real shame. I find that to generally be the case in GDW games. If you take a look, God, well, so I love 5th Frontier War, but the way the units are kept track of in that is horrible. And you have the same thing in, if I can find it, a game I do not love of theirs, which is Invasion Earth. Right up there, which keeps track of counter damage with little percentage markers under each unit to indicate how much damage they have. It's just a hideous way of handling step losses as far as I'm concerned. And it ends up you have to do calculations on units all the time. Hey, I've only got 80% of my 6-4 unit, so that's 6 times 0.8. Oh, it's worth 4.8 strength points. Now, do I have to round or truncate, or do I retain the fractional values, or what? It's explained in each game, but man, it's just such a hideous design element to the game. And, you know, this seems to have that same kind of... Nobody was standing there saying, you know... I mean, we've gotten used to this and looked at this, but when we sent it out to the playtesters, they came back with, what the fuck? What are you doing, man? You know? And that's really a shame. I don't even know if there is playtesting in it. The way to find out is, of course, to look in the credits, which I have part of them on this page, and there are none listed. There's a developer, but no playtesters. It's quite possible that there was no playtesting outside the office for this game. Well, I decided it's time, from the gorilla's point of view, to start playing the big boy game. And what we've done is we've got all our big units, then a couple hexes of Robotree. Right now, we're going to be firing at a unit that has absolutely no capability to return fire. This should be over here, actually. And I could have bunched up within 1 hex, because I'm going to be attacking at 1-to-1s here. These are all 12 strength units hitting a 10 defense, doubled for the city. If I was all right adjacent to him, he'd have nowhere to retreat. He can't retreat into the city, from what I can tell of the rolls. However, I'd rather not take any losses for my attacks. And I'm going to cover all my units with farmers, which means if I get shot at, I'll still take possible damage, but the farmers are going to be there with me, and I'll be using them as human shields, and that'll give me some advantages. Hey, look, I used some tiddlywinks. How wise of me. All right, so let's start looking, because this could be huge. There's no other forces on the board for the Mycan. They have these. That's all they can take their damage from. So they're going to start losing, you know, their defensive capabilities on their other cities if I start blasting away at this. Or if this just takes an eliminate result, it's screwed. Now, that's one reason I would have wanted the retreat to be clustered up on them. So with 1-to-1 attacks, remember, I have a 50-50 chance of destroying the unit. But I kind of don't like taking my 10% losses or 30% losses up here. So I decided to go for this less risky, maybe right away. Especially with the rain, that means the laser is going to be halved, and it's not going to do as much. So let's open up with one of them. And we win. Boom. This is 1A2. Okay. Well, that means the one that just fired can keep firing at this headquarters unit. That's an 8. I'm a 12. Still 1-to-1. And we win again. Headquarters is... This can't be rebuilt. I'll put it over here with these militia, because it doesn't... Well, I'll put it with the ships, the things. But the headquarters actually causes me an issue. That's 25 points on all cities. Oh, militia just flipped here. This is... Jeez. That looks like a C. I can't take that one. Yeah, that should be over here. It's allowed... Oh, shit. This police, though, looks like a C. No, that's a D. This, I think, is a C, though, so I'll take this one. I gotta replace it with a D, which is a little easier to see here. And I think I took it from here. I don't know. Doesn't make much difference. And then 25 points here. Which puts us up. Okay. Assuming that I'm right, you know. I don't know. I should have 2 Ds and an RP. I don't know where my other one is. Oh, there's a D over here. Okay. Okay, so now I can keep shooting. Now, these tanks and vehicles are actually on top of here. I guess in this order. So now I'm shooting at 6-1, which is actually automatic. So I get rid of all this crap. And all this crap. And these are worth political points as well. Those are hover beds. They're going to be worth 5 each. I just killed 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Another 25 points for each. It's pretty much over, I think. Okay. And, you know, too bad I didn't get in there. I don't think I gave myself the points for taking those farmer settlement hexes. That's another 15 on Robochoy. Which goes up here. That doesn't really mean much at all. I already had a chain going there, so if I had the food counter I could have played it, but I don't have it. They're both not in his hands. I wonder where they are. Well, one's there. Maybe I'm missing a counter. That would suck. And that is indeed what it looks like. I'm going to have to make a spare counter for that. Pity. Well, oh, maybe food's on the board. And I just don't have a little... Yeah, I just don't have a little chit for it. So I already had that. No biggie there. Okay. And I guess I can throw all this crap away. Not a good turn for the Mikan. And they have basically nothing they can do. They have to win fights against this crap if they're going to be able to survive at all. And I think it's just about over. I'll probably be calling it early if this is the case, because Robochoy Put has to be under my control. Mikan control. Mikan is because they're all clones. They're my kin. Yeah. So, I don't know. You know, I have troops here and lasers and such not. Unfortunately, there are zones of control here which do have an effect because these units have little dots on them. And I don't remember quite what that effect is. Let's take a look. It's not much, but it may impact their movement. It has to end its movement for the turn. Yeah. So they're not going to be able to... Oh, you can't make gorilla hops out of enemy zones of control. Well, there's something I missed. So big units can probe and get a guaranteed shot off. So I'm not going to be able to take the road down there, but I could position myself here, and you know, use my weaponry to try to do what I can with that. We're coming down to the wire. We're going to attack these PO units here at 1-to-1, I guess. I don't know. There's no real point to that. I'll just attack these militia. I'm at 2-to-1, but I got to probe them first. I'm not sure I'm allowed to probe them because these aren't Mikan regular units. I don't know. Yeah. I'm going to allow it. I mean, if police can't probe, what can? There's too much here. Okay, so that goes to here, and now he's hard to attack. And I don't really see anything else I terribly want to do here. I'll probe probe with this. It jumps to here. It's now revealed. All I can do is a 1-to-1 attack on it. I'm going to the governed space. That's an important place to be in, I think. 1-to-1, eh? That's a 30E. Well, that wasn't worth it. There goes my one-shot military police, which I can't rebuild as far as I know. It's worth 30 points. No, it's not hit. It takes three hits. I don't just lose something like that. I don't know where I was. Who was he? He was in here. Okay. And that cost me 3. Alright. Now I've got some attacks. And I've piled up my forces here. I've got a couple lasers, which are halved. I got these missiles, which are not. So I'm going to fire my missile first. I'm going to fire it at these. I immediately get the farmers that are on top of there. Oh, that's terrible. Okay, I cost 1. I think these cost me 4 points each. Yeah, and that's everywhere. And now I'm still allowed to shoot these guys. And that's just going to be a 1-to-2. They get no terrain bonus because they're out in the open, but we'll see if we can get lucky here. 4, no, we do not. We're not in range of them, so we don't get killed there. I have another missile, also at 10. If I shoot again, I hit the farmers again. But it's what I gotta do. 10. That's another 4 points over here. And now that 1-to-2 attack. And I get an exchange, which is fine. I have just done him in. Now, what is he? He's big. He is a guerrilla infantry company. He's worth 165. Good luck finding that anywhere. That's, well, there's 9. I don't want to lose the big unit there, although the laser might just shoot me out. They're 15 points times 9 is 135. I got 30 more, which is the value of the heavy weapons squad, but I could just destroy 2 more lights along with this. So I'm allowed to break this sucker down. And now I gotta hunt down 2 of my regular infantry, which I have kicking around back here. Drop these off, and that's 30 more. So, you know, I'm able to reinforce this and get to the point where it's still a surviving unit. Well, that's a nice target for the lasers, isn't it? Because they're only 5 strength. They'd have a really hard time against that big unit. So I'll shoot at the farmers some more. Oh, poor them. This time it's a 1 and a 1. The Mycan don't actually lose though because they're not next to it. So they give their 4 more points of farmers dead in each place. And let's see, I'm 5-6 again, 1-2. This thing's got better range than that thing. Uh-oh, this could be bad. It's an exchange. I gotta lose 30. I'll lose that, but these 15 point. Oh no, these are 7 pointers. That was a 1-to-1. So this is actually eliminated. I can't do anything about that. And Unfortunately, I don't get the points for destroying this sucker. That would have been nice, because that's worth a lot of points as well. Destroying a Mycan whole company, or I'm sorry, a guerrilla company is worth something. There, 50 points everywhere. But I don't get that because I wore it down in multiple shots. Now, here's the problem. This 15-point laser battery, I have to come up with 60 points of losses for it. I have a platoon that's 45 and another platoon. I'm going to just take a loss on the laser. I can't really afford it, but I needed to blow that up. My other shot, I'm not going to even take, because I know I can't blow this up. I did something pretty big there, probably better. Oh, I hope I'm not occupying something I shouldn't be. Anyway, I did something pretty big there. It's not going to be enough for this, to turn the tide, but I did blow up a whole bunch of their troops. But now we're going to see what the effect of the guerrillas having access to the city is. How big is that? I don't think it's very big, but they can clear out all the crap in there with their big units. They could have done that anyway, and that'll allow them to maybe use their counters to better effect. But there isn't a whole hell of a lot they can do. Knocking out the police is worth some points. Knocking out all the police forces means they don't have to worry about enemy draws, which they really haven't had, too much competition on anyway. So that's going to push us into turn 8 here. It's still raining in turn 8, and we did the chit pull fun, and that's kind of neat because otherwise things would stay kind of static and maybe nobody could do anything in the cities just because the points aren't moving and other factors aren't taking place. By the chits moving back and forth, you might get an opportunity that opens up to allow you to kind of start budging the cities a little better than you would otherwise, one way or the other, actually. And you also have this kind of, geez, I better use my counters before I lose them, take the advantage of them. Now, I think that's kind of in place anyway with the power bases, because you'd like to recycle those suckers if you can. But it means that, one player can't hold on to the other person's power bases and just know that they're never going to be able to utilize them. So it's a neat little mechanism, although mechanically it's a little tedious. Reinforcements came in and I caught myself cheating. I had a bunch of militia built up, probably from this PO garrison militia unit. Those don't generate militia, so I do have militia though generated by the the power bases. I have to get real troops into those cities to start generating militia inside of them. The Mycan got their reinforcement company. Probably way too late at this point, but damn, we sure needed it. I don't know if it's worth rolling for the gun plats. It's that, on future turns. If there was any value to hunting the sanctuaries, maybe not. But I've got so much trouble to deal with. I don't have the time to go out and go into Cambodia and Laos and all that. I'm right here. I'm right here in Seoul. No, in Saigon. Don't get confused. Okay. Yeah, it kind of ruins the whole joke, right? We're now on the political pick phase, and because this is so different, I like to highlight it, just like I do with a Euro, the mechanisms that are going on, because the thinking is kind of neat. Some ash. Okay. So first of all, let's look at clearing, and if I have health, I can play that, and I probably do. No, it seems like my enemy does. Okay, so I'm still unable to affect things there. So we go into Dinavan, and if I can get retail, I get another militia, but I don't have retail. I do have some other cards, though. For example, I can throw a riot. He doesn't have a corresponding effect there. A riot is cool because it generates me some crap, but it also gets me some points if I can find it. Okay, I thought it gave points. Maybe it gives points on the other chart. I really swear I saw riots in here. This is... Trying to find this shit is just so obnoxious. Mycan Riot begins. Guerrilla Riot begins. That's actually 20 on all the cities. Wow. I may have... Now that can open up an opportunity in the other cities, so I have to keep an eye on that. And then the riot also has another effect, which I have to look up over here. And you can see why I generated this. I'm going to get a counter, a blank counter representing rioters on every adjacent hex which does not contain an enemy unit. So this was in Dinovan, and I think I'm going to have school riots. And since I didn't use these clear markers very much, and there isn't much opportunity for more of them, we're going to call them rioters. And those have a strength I think they have a defensive strength of 1 essentially. And they can be attacked but it's going to be multiplied by the multiplier if there is one. And they can be attacked, well, they must be attacked if anyone wants to do anything to the schools. Of course, there's also troops on top of the schools, so it's not like that's gonna fix anything there. Now, I also have kidnapping and assassination. Unfortunately, I can't hit their transport folk because there's troops on top of there, so I'm not going to be allowed to use a counter on those. Going over to Robochi. All right, let's take a look at what I have. I can't get past docks while he controls that. I'm going to have to take the docks down. And those are guarded, so that's going to be a tough job. Now, if I get the popularity up, I could start taking some of these other things, but it's not high enough yet. What does a bomb do? Will that help me get rid of troops? It sounds like it should. Now, it's got to be an exposed power base. I have some additional rioters that if I put in the health sector, or hey, it's even better in the school, we generate that 20-point bonus again across the board. And hey, maybe I got something here. But first I got to throw my rioters down. And then we got to go back to clearing. And these rioters can also protect the other base here. I still don't understand those shadow spaces completely, but as far as I can tell, they only are evoked when troops are pulled out of here, and I don't have any troops hidden, so that's not really an issue. Okay, so that's that one. Let's keep looking. Everything else is going to be at other people. So we go back to clearing, and now we've just gotten a militia, and I got to find a C militia. Here's one. Let's take that over. Try to remember where it was. In the wrong city, but that's okay. They're allowed to move around. And now if we have transportation, which we do, we can play that. And we will. That gets us a red marker there, and that's the beginning of our chain, which we can now keep shooting. Now, that gives us 40 points in that city. And now we can look for school, which we have. And we'll play that, and that's 40 more points. And another C militia I gotta look for. I think it's dead. Yep. So now that militia will come back in my hands. Of course, the enemy can get these back, but so the trumping capability. So you can look and say, well, Mike can have the points, the popular support to have that militia. Yeah, that's true. But the trumping capability is if I've got my chain going beyond that, that actually beats that. Now, what if I have retail? Oh, yes, I do. Oh, shit. Does he have any of these? He does not. If he had his own, he could have canceled them as I'm playing them. I have retail as well, and that'll bump his unit. Give me 40 more points. And the next one is the government. Do I have the government? Yes, I do. I am now the governing power here, I believe. Gives me another militia and another 40 points. Another militia changes hands. That city is basically, it is mine now. Okay. And can I go up to the PO itself? I can. And there is another 40 points. And we get the garrison too. Let me take that. And there's the garrison counter. I'll put the CR somewhere. I don't remember where the garrison was. It's kicking around somewhere down there. Now we just took control of our first city. That's 500 points for every city. That caused more problems. And I got to come back after I refresh all those units because a lot of stuff just changed hands. The net effect is I've taken over governance of all 3 cities. They're now all mine. That means I'm the in-power player now. Which means I can start arresting and such now. So I have to worry about other things I can do. There's no power bases here, so there's nothing I can do there. So we'll go over here. Now, the gray things are still Mike in alignment, but these have switched color sides. Over at Dinovan, there's nothing exposed, so there's nothing I can do. And then over here, again, nothing's exposed. So I'm not able to use, my police powers as long as he's got troops in the area. I can't just arrest him. And notably, the actual police don't change hands. That's important because they're the source for the Mikan draws. The police are always going to be part of the rebellion, which is a little weird. If anything, well... There have been cases where the police were slower to turn than the military has. Places like Egypt, for example, but where the military base. But usually the police caves pretty quickly as soon as the military makes its hand known in some kind of situation like this. The thing is, the real military is this. It's not. It's the occupying forces, not the local militias for the cities. So I guess you can look at it that way. Anyway, it's a little weird, but so I can do nothing more. And now we go over to the Mycan, who are in a position of being on the opposite side. These no longer help them, if they did any at all. But I got some of these. So for example, I can do a demonstration. Well, let's see if I can play health. I'm sure I can't. That's usually pretty far down and it's covered. Jeez. I'm always worried that I failed, you know, like here, transport, that I could have blocked something. That I couldn't have. In health, I'm pretty sure I couldn't have either. So I feel okay right now, but I do have worries that, you know, I missed an opportunity to prevent a chit play. Okay, so nothing's going on in clearing. Over here, bombing, kidnapping, and demonstration. Now, kidnapping's dangerous because what you do is you take somebody else's power chit and put it in your own area. And that doesn't really help you much. And that's kind of bombing also. It hurts your popularity. So how valuable is it really? Well, it clears something out of the way. So if it's the only chit you have and you need to play your own power base. But I'm not going to be able to play my health chip. So I'm probably not interested in much except demonstrations. And I have a chit here, so I'll play the demonstrations. Those give me some points, unless he has a demonstration. He doesn't have one in hand. Probably used it if he did. And that's worth only 15 for the Mycan side. They don't have the popular support on them. On the other side, I have an assassination in a demonstration. I also have the transport chit. Can I play the transport chit? Well, transport's next to docks, but docks isn't supported. It's not in my power base area. I have to have the PO. That's the only thing I can draw power off of. So I can't play transport at this point until I can get the points down to docks there. So that's not going to help me. But I can try a demonstration in Robochi Put. He, of course, doesn't have one. And he doesn't want to play... well, he likes his black demonstrations, not his red ones. And actually, wow, he has some chits he could have played there. I was looking at the police power of the state rather than, hey, why don't I pump this up and take over the PO? I don't know if there are gray markers for the PO. I think the PO can only be controlled by the guerrillas because the PO is controlled by the Mycan due to the alliance. Anyway. We dropped some points there. And that is about it. We're ready to go into the guerrilla military phase at this point. And I think we can safely say it's about over, but I'm curious to see the fall and to see whether or not the Mycan can put up any kind of counter revolution of any value at all. Maybe understandably, as the Mycan army is dissolved, this has become much more the political game in terms of what I'm actually having to spend effort on. We do have the normal spread out of the troops and the constant flow of militia moving back into the safe areas to turn into regulars. I got a couple of things I'm doing. I'm surrounding this unit so that if it has any retreats, it's in trouble. And then I'm going to use heavier fire from the companies back here. I get a lot of points for this. I didn't... Those are 5 each. 1, 2, 3, 4... I think I get 25 more points over here. You know, I don't know how important these are because I've got almost everything, but almost isn't enough. You know, I want more. I do have control of the government, though, at this point. So I'm the power in all the different states as the rebellion. in all the different cities. I could have actually used some of these crappy things in order to defend. They might be cheaper, in my view, than using resources that I can build up into something bigger, but, well, I did what I did. All right, so I've got a couple of different attacks to take care of. One is here, which I just explained, and we'll get to the ones in the cities. Those are going to be kind of low odds attacks, but they have purpose. So we open up here, it's 12 to 10, it's 1 to 1, but I can't get hurt because of the range. Okay, so that's a failure, so I don't get to keep shooting. I have another one that can shoot at the same ratio. Okay, I caused a 10R. This is a problem for this guy. He can't retreat, so he will be eliminated. And what I'm not going to allow him to do is to exchange himself, you know, for manpower. I don't think that's legitimate, and I don't think that's the intention. Otherwise, they wouldn't have the rules the way they are about retreats being a problem. And now it becomes really easy. I can keep attacking from this unit. And I'm at 12 to 1 because the terrain doesn't help those. These are all automatic eliminations. Now, I didn't take out a big unit, so I don't get the big bonus. If I take out this company, I get big bonus, right? But that's not what I went for. Do I want to hit it at 1 to 2? There's not a lot of manpower left for the Mycan. You know, this is their one unit. What would 1 to 2 do for me? Well, because I put it down as all one big unit, that would be 10%. See, I've got a company here too. They're both at really high values, 165. Now, if he takes 16, he can reduce by, you know, he can pull a platoon out or whatever, and I can probably crack that. I'm going to have a hard time cracking this under any other circumstances. On the other hand, I could get some really ugly results, like an E. But I think it's worthwhile just because his manpower is so low at this point. Now, I'm going to get a chance to shoot that sucker down with this thing. But I think it's important to wear them down even more, even if it means kind of suicidal losses here. So let's go for this. I get a 4. That's not good. I take 10% and I retreat. This didn't have to be exposed. And we're hiding under farmers here. Actually, there should be a counter there. So I'm going to have to take... Yeah, I'm going to have to lose some of these units. I'm going to have to take... 10% is 17 points. I actually have that built up here. I must have taken a big loss. So I'll take those hits. I could have reduced some of these units, but I can't just build out of my factors the way the Mycan can. All right, let's look at what I wanted to do over in the city. Now here, I'm attacking the police. And these guys are doubled, so this is a 1 to 2 attack against those police. It's not likely to work, but if it does, something good happens, and it does work. They take losses, so they're actually destroyed. I think I'm allowed to march on to here, and thereby ensure that if the Mycan don't take control, don't knock me out of there, that it's exposed. Exposed in what way? Well, it still has to be, you know, politically exposed as well. I can't just take actions against them if it's not, but at least it's not defended by obvious forces. Now over here, I just killed a police unit. That's worth some points. if I can find it. Here it is. PO Civil Police Unit destroyed. That's 10. And those never go over to me. That is weird. Okay, here I have a couple of attacks, and I'm also set up to potentially attack the political police. Those are more dangerous, though. He can generate points to save them, so I'm probably not going to attack them. But here again, it's at 1 to 2. And again, I get a success. And I'll push forward. And that's 10 more points here. Now, do I want to hit that political police? I could take 2 shots at 1 to 6, but that ends up the 1 to 3 table. Now, that political police squad is worth 45 points. I would make him break up his big units, and his big units kind of are a threat. I'm going to do it because I don't think my units are terribly valuable. Those are just PO militia units. So I'll use them up on fruitless raids, and this one is killed and ends up doing 20% of that 45. That's going to be 9 hits. You want your police gone or not? You want them? You know, it's a hard call here, because if I break this sucker up, or, well, Dinovan may not be that important to me at this point. I'm almost looking at, if I can maintain some kind of foothold, I've won something, because I really don't think I can possibly win the game. I think the Robochi output is going, the port is not going to be able to provide the support that is needed. On the other hand, I'm not sure how much effective value having my police really is. How much I can do politically to regain the city. Huh. This may be an automatic victory, by the way. I don't remember if it's an end of the game. I know a lot of them are end of the game, but no, it's only at the end of the game. Okay. So I have to be able to take Robochi put back. I can't do that without the political police. I have to take the casualties here. I'll take them off this unit, I guess. And I don't like it, but... So what did I owe? 9, eh? Oh, yeah, 9 out of 15, so I get 6 back. And I'm not thrilled about that, but I think I need the big unit to be able to affect them. I can always break up into smaller units and make my way over there. I have no difficulty flying around through the air with my anti-grav abilities. Okay. And by the way, if I haven't mentioned this before, the guerrillas have that as well. They just only are at risk. They have a 50-50 chance of making it because there's air defense capabilities that can come into play against them that are abstracted. So like the fact that I wiped out all the lasers doesn't mean a damn thing for that. Pretty much at a complete loss of what to do with the mic in here. I have one big unit. I could break it up into smaller units. How much is that going to do me? If I run into the city and start trying to fight in the city, I'm going to take casualties over here, there's no question. And, well, and there's only one thing of value maybe to go for. I don't really want to waste my efforts on the PO units because those are going to hurt me and to no real effect. They're almost useless except that they garrison these things that I need to get control. It's possible I might be able to make a last stand here at this city, but damn, I just don't see any hope here. I'm looking at, okay, what if I took one of these guys on? And let's take a look at what it looks like. Yeah, let's assume this guy's on top. First of all, I have to leave the city X. Presumably I'm going to hide my headquarters. Maybe under my unit, I don't know. And then I've got a 1-to-1 attack. I could get right lucky with that. And that's about the best that I think I can do. So, unfortunately, I have to probe, however. Since I've been allowing PO units to do probes, which I don't think they're actually allowed to do, I'm going to attempt that. And we may just be quitting at the end of this, because I just don't see much point overall to trying to play things out. This all collapsed at once. I just do not see a way of turning the tide there. Okay, so the probe, too bad that wasn't my attack, discovered these units, and then they hopped. They're actually one unit right now. So that was a failure. And, well, I can pull another one out of here. This is Dinovan. I don't have to do any big trace or anything. I can move here and then here and probe. And the probe puts me... These guys are face up. And here... And I'm probably going to use the smaller unit on top. And now can I attack? I'll move here. If I'm in a zone, I'm in trouble. I'm not. Here, here. To here. And now I'm going to attack this hex. And I can't actually attack this unit because I haven't found it, so I don't know what's up with that. Since it's on top, I think it gets its own probe chance. Okay, so it's got a chance of ambushing me. No, there's no ambush. It stays where it is and I can attack. So now I'm at 5 to 1. Oh, I'm sorry, these are, yeah, I wanted to make sure I'm still in the clear. I'm at 5 to 1 against those, but there's a chance I'm going to start taking casualties off that shit right away. Yeah, and I do. Okay, so I kill this, and now I take 20% of my 165. Yeah, you don't want to attack with big units. I guess I could have broken down to something smaller, but smaller wouldn't give me 5 to 1, you know? So what did I take? I take 17 points. Well, there's 15. And I get 2 back. Okay, we'll try another attack. And actually I didn't have to be this close. I could do it here, and I could save that unit. Give me those 2. Okay. So, this actually works better. Although, I still don't know if I could have hit that unit. I kill this one. And you know, this is annoying to the rebels. 4, I kill this one. And now the important attack. And I don't know if I really should have shielded, but the only reason for doing that was I didn't realize I have a ranged attack here. Okay, so now it's 16 to 16. It's 1 to 1. If I get a 1, is it worth it? I don't know, because I'm going to take 30% of that 165. Instead, I take a 6, which means I take that 10%, which I'll blow away here, like I had done. But yeah, I just, at this point, do not see a possibility for the Mycan to really assert themselves in an effective way. I think that they have lost, and playing it out it would show the operation of this little plane, which I'm kind of the Federation destroyer coming by with 2 flybys, which, you know, at 25, it might be able to take this sucker out, or at least it's going to cause heavy casualties to it. There's nothing that can hurt that thing, because the lasers are all gone. On top of that, I just don't think that I have the capability to turn the tide here. If I go into the city, if I had gone into the city with that big unit, I could blow up, you know, a couple of these Poe units, but I don't have the chit pull capability to really affect what the guerrillas have. They've won the hearts and minds in the cities already. I just do not see any opportunity for maintaining, you know, even control of Robichi Put. But let's say I got that, well, I'm not going to be able to keep the routes open, and the other cities are both under the enemy control. I just don't have that kind of force ever possibly available anymore. I've lost too much of the Maiken force. Now, some of that I think is because of that early generation of too many militias. There may be a balance issue in this game. I can't tell you shit about that because I've broke so many rules and screwed so many things up. And on top of that, though, I would say, well, even all those rules breakings in terms of, you know, what I was able to see, or my failures of understanding the rules, in terms of being able to see what the game should develop like, I'm not sure that I can even give you that, because, you know, I don't think they affected that much, because I was pretty much bumbling around trying to figure the strategy as I went through this. And I have some ideas now. I'm kind of left, though, drawing a blank as to much that the Maiken can do. I'd probably be spending a lot of time using the TEDx to try to clear out the forests and create killing zones that are more effective, rather than trying to hunt the troops down so much. On the other hand, and hunting the troops down is probably less effective than I played it, because I don't think I could use these guys for probes. On the other hand, I'm not sure a game like this was designed to be balanced or terribly well play-tested. There are no play-testers listed in the credits. Of course, it's very early. Maybe, you know, GDW didn't record that kind of information the way later games companies, later even GDW games would. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed the look at it. I'll come back with a review at some point fairly soon.